After the Clone Wars came to an end and the clone troopers of the Republic turned on their generals, Obi-Wan Kenobi was forced into exile on Tatooine to watch over the son of his former apprentice Anakin Skywalker. When Luke finally asked Obi-Wan if he had fought in the Clone Wars, a wave of emotion and memories flooded over Obi-Wan from his many battles with his apprentice.
No, my father didn't fight in the wars. He was a navigator on a spice freighter.
That's what your uncle told you. He didn't hold with your father's ideals, thought he should have stayed here and not gotten involved.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes. I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
I wish I'd known.
So, I'm going to break down the exact battle that Obi-Wan remembered when he said, "And he was a good friend."
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy. And a cunning warrior. He was a good friend.
So before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed with the bell button on to get notifications when I release more awesome Star Wars content just like this. So, the story begins on Tatooine, 19 years after the Bitter Battle of Coruscant, where Obi-Wan and Anakin rescued the Chancellor together. This is of course the scene right from A New Hope where Luke asks Obi-Wan about the Clone Wars, to which Obi-Wan tells the young farm boy that he was once a Jedi Knight, the same as his father. Luke wishes he'd known his father, and Obi-Wan tells him that Anakin was the best star pilot in the galaxy and a cunning warrior, before finally saying, "And he was a good friend." This then throws Obi-Wan into an emotional and painful flashback on the planet Terra Sul, where he is locked in an air battle with separatist Vulture droids. Obi-Wan demands to know where Anakin is, telling him that he should be covering his master considering how many droids are on his tail. Anakin then confidently says, "Don't worry master, I'm on my way," before zooming through the pack of Vulture droids and flying dangerously close to his master's ship, badly scaring Obi-Wan. As Anakin is flying upside down in his fighter, he jokes to his master saying, "Oops, near miss," which infuriates Obi-Wan because he's having enough trouble evading the droids in the air, let alone Anakin's reckless and dangerous tactics. Following this, Anakin rolls, spins and weaves through the droid forces, absolutely obliterating a large chunk of them before he confidently says, "Relax, master. If these droid starfighters are all the Confederacy can muster, we'll have this planet liberated by nightfall." As Anakin does this, Obi-Wan is very glad that Anakin is so confident because he's in a much worse situation. The planet's cloudy and rough atmosphere is wreaking absolute havoc on Obi-Wan's senses, meaning he is flying blind. As Obi-Wan finally shoots through the cloud cover and has his vision cleared, he is greeted with a sight that shocks him slightly, but just angers him even more. A massive separatist station, armed with blaster turrets pointing in literally every direction, is floating above the clouds, making it nearly impossible to maneuver through. Obi-Wan is of course terrified at this, but Anakin is filled with joy as he sees a challenge finally worthy of his time. Obi-Wan then reminds Anakin that although this isn't a problem for him, the locals of the planet are literally having their world experience a mini orbital bombardment, causing massive destruction. This humbles Anakin slightly, but it isn't going to stop him from zooming forward and taking out as many droids as possible. After this, Obi-Wan shocks Anakin by saying, "Cover me, I'm going in." Obi-Wan obviously isn't the most fond of flying, so this shocks Anakin and leads him to ask, "You are? Isn't that a little reckless?" But Obi-Wan simply tells him, "I thought you wanted to be done with this planet by nightfall," which satisfies Anakin. Following this, Obi-Wan and his brave astromech race onto the droid platform, gunning down a small pack of B-1 battle droids before literally crash landing into them and crushing them to pieces. So uncivilized. Obi-Wan's landing isn't the best, as his ship almost slides straight off of the other side of the platform, but as soon as his ship comes to a full stop, he simply closes his eyes and feels the force flow deeply through him before waiting a moment and then bursting his way out of the cockpit and onto the platform. Obi-Wan ignites his lightsaber and begins cutting B-1 battle droids to pieces before moving further onto the platform and taking on the even tougher B-2 super battle droids. Soon, Obi-Wan pulls off the unthinkable, destroying every single droid on board the platform, allowing him to locate the command bridge while Anakin covers him from the sky. Before Anakin can even begin doing this, however, R2 begins beeping wildly, telling Anakin that there is more droid chatter coming from behind the clouds nearby, leading him to zoom off away from his master to check it out. Obi-Wan frantically calls Anakin to stay with him, but he pretends not to hear this, telling him the signal is breaking up. Unfortunately, his smile is very soon turned to a look of worry as he uncovers something horrendous. There are hundreds more of these massive platforms floating right above the village on the surface of the planet, already causing massive destruction below. Obi-Wan is still slightly angry at Anakin and tells him, "I'm sure you can handle it," before melting his way down below the platform with the heat of his lightsaber and dropping in on a horde of B-1 battle droids. The droids don't even get the chance to activate their voice processors before Obi-Wan swipes his blue blade and chops each of them in half instantly. Obi-Wan then rushes through the halls of the command center, slicing many battle droids as he runs, until eventually arriving at the two commanding battle droids and snapping one's head off while impaling the other through the chest with his lightsaber. Following this, Anakin lands on one of the other threatening platforms with R2, but he is quickly barraged by fire from all angles, forcing him to pull out his lightsaber and deflect each one. Obi-Wan then tells his apprentice that he will come to help him if he can figure out how to pilot the platform. As Anakin is defending himself from a pack of B-1 battle droids, he urges his master to hurry because he has two massive cannons pointing right at him, before being thrown back violently by a massive blast. As Anakin looks up, he sees that his master has just saved his life and gives him a thumbs up with a massive smile on his face. Obi-Wan then inspects the data pads of the platform where he realizes that a large group of missiles is now targeting the area, which Anakin knows means that they're going to raise the entire planet, a clear war crime under the Yavin Code and the Galactic Accords. As the missiles begin racing towards the village below, Anakin tells R2 to wait patiently before doing something absolutely crazy. He leaps into the air and begins slicing the missiles cleanly in half as they are still flying, shocking the local fighter pilots. Surprisingly, Anakin doesn't accidentally detonate one of the warheads on the missiles and continues leaping and jumping to each one, destroying them all. As Obi-Wan is watching his Padawan complete this ridiculous task, he sighs and says, now he thinks he can fly? While Anakin lands on the nearby platform after his daring little stunt, Obi-Wan is once again filled with dread as there is still one more wave to come. Anakin, however, never even lets the smile leave his face, saying, still not a problem. This time summoning all of his strength in the Force to move the platform through the air and directly into the path of the missiles, destroying it in an instant, saving the entire planet below him. Later that day, Obi-Wan and Anakin come together, with Kenobi telling his Padawan that he has done an excellent job and the planet is now free. As he hears this, Anakin can't help but smile once more, telling his master, not quite by nightfall, but it'll do. And to end the story, things get a whole lot more heartbreaking. Obi-Wan then says to Anakin, you've become quite a good pilot, Anakin. I think the learner has finally become the master. Anakin responds to this in a somber tone, saying, only in the sky, Master Kenobi. Only in the sky. Which rips Darth Vader out of his flashback near the remains of Alderaan on the Death Star, moments after killing his master and using his own line against him. Honestly, such a heartbreaking end to the story, and a great connection to Obi-Wan's line from A New Hope. So that was the time Obi-Wan had a traumatic flashback to the Clone Wars. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed it. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.